Now let's go to Russia, and let's look at Russia. Now, when we say Russia, we say so because that vast territory was once the heart of the Soviet Union, the ex-Soviet Union, the socialist communistic Soviet Union. Russia today has more to do with preserving the religious influence and supremacy of the indigenous Russian Orthodox Church. And they seek to protect it from the spread of other new religions in an effort to secure Russian cultural identity. And this Russian cultural identity is associated with the Russian Orthodox Church. Because of this, and other new religions, especially Christian types of religions, have faced state legislation that curb and hinder their missionary activities. Thus, religious liberty is attacked in that country by interfering with the freedom of expression of new religions. This is the general form of anti-rights and anti-freedom actions that occur in Russia of today. So that if a new religion comes and it is being preached and a large amount of people are being converted, suddenly the authorities will begin to think that the cultural heritage of Russian Orthodoxism is being diminished by new conversions. And to protect the Russian Orthodox Church and its cultural identity with Russia, the laws are passed to curb the extent of missionary preaching and the extent of ability to convert large amount of people. And this is how Russia interferes with religious liberty today. It is more an attack against freedom of expression. This is how it comes. Now, let's go to Europe and Canada, the Western nations of Europe and Canada. In most of the countries of Western Europe and Canada, anti-rights and anti-freedom actions have taken the form of Holocaust denial legislation. That's correct. These are legislations outlawing the denial of a Jewish Holocaust as a hate crime. These laws target the denial of concepts that make up what is known as the Holocaust. So there are concepts that make up what is known today as the Holocaust. If you deny those concepts, laws are against denial of those things. For instance, if you say that 6 million Jews were not murdered, if you say there were no gas chambers, and if you say National Socialism was not an anti-Jewish racist concept, all these things are considered hate crimes. And as a result of what we call Holocaust legislation, pro-Holocaust legislation, you can be charged. Thus, it is the freedom of... Now the point, what does this show us? These laws target the denial of concepts that make up what is known today as the Holocaust. Thus, it is freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and conscience and expression that is attacked by the legislation of a state historical doctrine. So like the state legislates a historical doctrine of the Holocaust, and you are up against the legislation of a state historical doctrine about the Jews. So this is how it happens in European countries, France, Germany, Spain, etc., Switzerland, and Norway, Sweden, etc., and like Canada. Furthermore, hate crimes that are also part of the anti-rights and anti-freedom legislation in those countries, hate crimes target actions because of the thoughts and beliefs that are associated with those actions, even though the acts are sometimes not actually done, because of the politically correct concepts that have been legislated. So certain politically correct concepts have been legislated, and those politically correct concepts, if you speak against them, or if you find yourself transgressing these concepts, you can be charged with a hate crime. And if you do an act based upon those concepts, that is also identified as a hate crime. It is in this form that anti-rights and anti-freedom actions occur in Europe and Canada today. And this is the reason why such legislation is really an attack against the rights of man and the freedoms of man. Now let us go to the United States of America. In the United States of America, we have a completely different situation. Though this country is famous for its Bill of Rights, the Religious Liberty First Right Clause in the Bill of Rights, and the description of rights and freedoms of man as inalienable, the country is famous for those things, through a series of erroneous rulings by the country's Supreme Court from a majority of left-leaning Supreme Court justices, religious liberty has come under an attack. So that religious liberty today in America is attacked based upon these erroneous rulings from Supreme Court justices. The first right specifically states, the first right of the American Bill of Rights specifically states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Now, this clause, this portion of the First Amendment clause, actually separates religion and legislation, not church and state. So when you hear a phrase like that, the idea you get is that religion must not be legislated nor legislated against. Congress, therefore, is strictly forbidden by this right to legislate religion and to legislate against religion. But because of the interpretation of the first right, and it as being presented to mean separation of church and state, the government has repeatedly prohibited the free expression of religion, Christianity, in public places, which is called the state. Thus, it is Christianity, religion, that is outlawed as a public expression, which is the religious liberty right of freedom of belief, freedom of opinion, and freedom of expression that has come under attack. Because it is Christianity and its teachings that are being dealt with there. Blossoming hate crime laws also in America target thoughts, beliefs, and opinions, especially regarding Jews and Sodomites. Furthermore, there have been attempts to revive what is called the fairness doctrine in broadcasting. This doctrine targets freedom of belief, freedom of opinion, and freedom of expression. This is the form rights and freedom breaches have been taking place in the United States of America. So again, we have an assault against the rights and freedoms of men all over the world. And this is how it is taking place in the United States of America.